Welcome to the Speaking, Meditation and Awakening podcast. And after this conversation, you'll understand why I'm actually putting this one on the three podcasts. My guest, she lives in the US, Florida area, which I've been to when I went to Disneyland, beautiful. Many may know her from founding the Circle of Health, where she began that community after her own journey with the hormone balance, body balance drops. After 25 years of working with patients, she had lost herself and her health. She experienced autoimmune issues and her hormones were wrecked. She not only lost more than what she weighs now, which is incredible, but using her story, she has become a light to others who feel broken in their health. Let's learn how to get back to the basics with great nutrition and the drop system. Dr. Kristal sits on the Wellness Council and a member of the Partner Co. North American Partners Council. Please welcome Dr. Kristal Vance.
Hello.
So I suppose let's kind of be full clarity at the start here. I'm after getting involved with this company based on as somebody that I knew for years when I was doing franchising, Bill Chaffee. And I saw his pictures, and I know he was ill for a while. He had cancers and stuff like that. And next he had pictures of, like, after 5 days, after 28 days. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. And I reached out to him and I said, what are you doing? Because he looked 20 years younger. And based on that, then he started giving me information. I spoke with your dad and I said, okay, this is brilliant, because I knew some of the products and like Noni juice and everything, which we'll touch on. But for me, when I see something that's going to help people's, I suppose, immune system and their skin, their health, everything, as opposed to the junk that's pushed on you, it's like, I want to get behind that, because everything that I'm doing is all about helping humanity, making the world a better place. And I haven't seen anything like this. So, and then hence, thankfully, then we got to meet, and, you know, to be honest, you're constantly there. You, anything that's needed, you're very generous with your time, which I really appreciate. So I suppose let's kind of learn a little bit more about you first, for those that wouldn't know you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for having me on here. And I have been so excited to, per se, cross the pond. I am here in the US, and I have had this dream since young. Like, I cannot wait to work with the world, per se. And I grew up in this really small community in the middle of the United States. The state is called Wyoming, and most people don't even know someone from there, because there are literally more animals than there are people in the state. There's just not a lot there. And so I grew up sort of feeling like I'm in this cage, like, oh, if I could just see the world. So this is the digital world where you get to see the world via the internet, and I'm really thankful for it. And I'm blessed to have this mess that I had growing up with my health. And, 5 years old, being diagnosed with an autoimmune issue. And that story, my whole life has been kind of in the background, the reason why I continue to go after figuring out. I feel like a sleuth in the world of medicine. I'm like Sherlock Holmesing everything, trying to figure out what was going on with my own health. And in doing so, it made me a really great resource for other people, because I've encountered and I see other people and I see how they respond, and kind of reverse engineer to get back to the reason someone is having illness versus just throwing medications and things at symptoms. Because that never worked for me. And so if that didn't work for me, why would I do that and be like, here, take this? Because that's not a good enough answer for me. And I don't want it to be a good enough answer for anyone. So that's how I found myself here. I started patient care, over 25 years ago. And up until 5 years ago, I worked in my practice, 40 to 50 patients a day. And that's a lot of patients in a day that you got your hands on personally. I was trying to spend 15 minutes with each one, and you can do the math. That doesn't math. That's not even good girl math. It's terrible math. And I was exhausted, and I found myself over 300 pounds just merely from not eat. I'll hear people say, I don't eat anything and I gain weight. That was me. I was starving myself because I just wasn't taking good self-care. And so about 10 years ago, it was like, it's time to stop just worrying about the scale. And especially here in the US, like those numbers on that scale are literally the indicator for health for us. Like we don't look at any other thing. And I'm like, wait, that's just a symptom. Like I've been telling that to my patients, like weight gain is just a symptom of your body being out of balance. Just like if somebody lost 30 pounds really fast, I'd be like, why are you losing weight? Let's figure it out. But no one says that when you gain weight. They're like, oh, you just must be eating wrong. Well, there's a lot of reasons that our bodies gain weight. So I want people to know that first and foremost, I do help people lose weight. And you did see incredible before and after photos of Bill, which is my dad's childhood best friend. So I love having a relationship with him. He's such an incredible man. But, alongside that he was on an insulin pump that was going off 3 and 4 times a day with mass doses of insulin. He's off of his insulin pump. Why? Because when you bring the basics back to a body, it starts to know how to take care of itself. And that's really the sleuthing that I found over the last, 18 years, 25 years of practice, is that our bodies are not broken. Our lifestyles break them. What we put in our mouths, and that's way more than food, or what we don't put in our mouths, the nutritional supplementation and things that we need. Like that lifestyle matters. And it's what's giving us our health that we're experiencing today. And you're really 90 days away from feeling like a new person if we can change some things. So that's what I like to do, is teach people how to get started on that path.
Beautiful. And I mean, if we kind of go down to, when you were a doctor, because like when I was younger, I was sick a lot, and it was like you were just getting antibiotics constantly. They didn't even examine you. But what disgusts me now is I can go into somebody, or I've heard of situations where a doctor's treating a patient, and the patient, like I said, we could just go away and do something alternatively to just like, they just get sick of this. This doesn't help me. I might be kind of easing the symptoms, but it's not reversing it or anything like that. They figure it out, and the doctor goes, good job, and then we'll do the exact same thing to the next. There's very few that actually care so much that they want to learn and they want to help their patients and want to get them off these pills. Because unfortunately, yeah, there is some things that, that you need. And the same thing, like, if you get hit by a bus, you want all the medical procedures. You're not going to try acupuncture and things like that. That's not going to save you.
Right.
But when there's kickbacks and when there's stuff like that, like the industry is actually, it's broken. And I think slowly but surely there's more and more people that understand that. So, the fact that you've actually come through this journey, you've seen everything, you've seen the good, the bad, and now you come along and you see this company and you go, this is different. Yeah. These guys, and I suppose let's just touch on the 2 founders as well, because based on my own kind of researching and looking at it, sometimes you kind of, you look at guys that are creating a company and their reason and everything, and it's like, man, it's, sometimes people can say something and everything. But like, I think from the start, their careers, you can kind of look at how it went. So you might just touch on the 2 founders.
Yeah, absolutely. So Partner Co was founded simply to find a place that you could go that you were safe for your nutritional needs. And there's 2 gentlemen, both in their 50s, and they both have had very separate journeys that their paths merged a couple years ago. And one, John Wadsworth, 18 years old, went on a missions trip over to Japan and fell in love with the people, fell in love with the culture, and fell in love with the fact that everything was very botanical. Like they want to start with basic core ingredients to health before, right? What you were just talking about, acute care. We have the most incredible acute care when it comes to the world of MDing, but your medicine doesn't need a medicine. And what people forget is that medicine at its core started with botanicals. And then we find a way to mass produce it with synthetic ingredients, and then it becomes a prescription. So like getting back to the basics is just getting back to where those pharmaceuticals began. And so John loved the world of natural and taking care of the body as a temple. And he fell in love with a company that had a product called Tahitian Noni juice. So he was there in the very beginning as this company rolled out. This company is almost 30 years old. I should say this product, because the original company that created the relationship there in Tahiti with the country where we access this, it's so crazy. We literally work with family farms, this specific family farms that in these areas is isolated a special type of noni fruit. And so we've got the rights to it. And so John had started telling people all about this specific noni fruit there in the French Polynesian. And so he, over the last almost 30 years, did nothing but go out with voice and cry to tell people, hey, this product and what it does and this fruit and what it has is unique, and you should have it in your normal health routine. And he ended up building a multi-million dollar business for himself doing that. One person at a time, and another person would total word of mouth marketing, right? Well, he's doing well, and he semi-retires to Puerto Rico, loving the tax laws of Puerto Rico. And he's a smart man when it comes to finances. And his friend, he meets this new gentleman that has also come from the U.S., is there in Puerto Rico, and they become really great friends. Well, this is Darren Zobrist. Darren Zobrist comes from Wall Street. They're around the same age. They have families and children all around the same age. But he's got this Wall Street mindset, and he had just recently sold a sushi company. Okay, fishing company, really. Sushi grade fish. He's working on Wall Street. He's feeling like the lackluster, like he's like, it's great. I feel like I'm conquering it. He's working for Sachs and Goldman. Like, he's doing well. Wharton School of Business. He's bored out of his mind. He's like, is this really all there is? And he goes on a vacation down to Mexico. And while he's there, he sees these men out fishing and then selling the fish. And he's like, look, I know what I pay. I know what I pay for this fish in New York. It's not what you're selling it for here in Mexico. And so in that moment, he realizes, I could like create a fleet of fishermen, and we could then sell the fish. So he gets this business idea. He started with one fisherman. He grew it to an empire. He's very, very good at creating systems, and he's very intelligent inside of business. He ends up selling this for, we've heard billions. They say 2, some say 4. Here's what I know. If it has a B in the front of it, you're good. We're all good with billions, right? He sells it to Bumblebee Tuna. He takes his family, and he wants his youngest son to grow up in a bilingual environment. So they move to Puerto Rico so that he can learn and just be, and
probably keep his billions as well.
Yeah, and take advantage of those tax laws. Exactly. Keep the bees. Keep the bees. So John and Darren come together, and there was some crazy, like John's company that he was working with, they financially, it was a new season. Like, things needed to scale. and they needed to either scale forward, and there needed to be some pivoting that happened. I think we find that in business, like there comes a time when it's time to step forward into a different world with it, or you're going to start rolling backwards. And that's what happened. It was rolling backwards, and people were making terrible business decisions at corporate. And John was like, I'm going to lose everything. Like this corporate entity is not doing well. And so he goes to his best friend and is like, this is the problem. I really feel like we're days away from them filing bankruptcy and me losing everything I've believed in and I've gone out and told people about. I could simply just lose. And Darren says, well, let's just buy the company. Like, it's cool to have rich friends. Right? He's like, let's just buy the company. You know, I got a cool 18 mil just laying here. Let's just go buy it. And so that's what they did. But they said, in doing so, we're going to create a safe environment where people can come and get their nutritional needs. This is post-pandemic where you don't know what companies are giving you. And quite frankly, with everything that's happened over the past few years, supply chains and getting even the plastics or the glass bottles to get product in, like there has to be some better systems. And so they really did go and buy the company. But when they did this, they acquired 14 different legacy companies. And by legacy company, I mean a company that has maybe 1, 2, or a handful of really great nutritional products. And, you know, a lot of times with companies, they'll have 1 or 2 great ones, and then, you know, the rest are okay. They've got these like hero products that people fall in love with. Well, so basically we have 14 companies with all these incredible products, these hero products. So you could fall in love with all of them. It's so funny. It's like, what's my favorite? This one. What's my favorite? This one. Because like they're all really great. Well, what Partner Co promises, what Darren and John promise, is excellence in what they're going to put out there. So we have a scientific advisory board. So that means research and development. That means a global pool of physicians, whether they're MDs or chiropractors or naturopaths, acupuncturists, biological dentists, all of us coming together, working together, looking at an ingredient list on a product and going, yeah, no, we're not okay with that product, that ingredient. That ingredient is terrible. No, you're not releasing that to people. And so our R&D department is going through, and it's like, we're not putting preservatives in our nutritional products. So they literally created one that is all botanical, no chemical preservative. Like this isn't rocket science. Our grandparents lived for a really long time, right? The most centurions ever. Why? Because they kept it basic and they didn't eat all this processed food that we all eat. And so that's what we want. We want food grade, pharmaceutical grade nutrition, but instead of chemicals, let's make it with plants and botanicals and good ingredients. So that's what we have here at Partner Co. is just this online store of really great nutritional supplements that are tested and proven and guaranteed.
Excellent. And, you know, with the Noni, because to be honest with you, it was when I saw that's what kind of made me go, oh, this sounds good, because over 20 years ago, there was somebody that I knew, and he was always, you know, health things were stuff that people used to go to him, and somebody was told that they had 2 weeks to live, and he put them on that, and they made a full recovery. And I remember going, this is insane. Why isn't this all around the place? But, you know, later I kind of realized how the whole world works and everything. And I know that even, like, just thought to yourself, I thought, oh, but I've got Noni juice there and everything. And you sent me the information, which I have read and gone through, and it's not all the same. So sometimes you can think, oh, there's Noni here, Noni there, whatever it is in that region. And I suppose it's like the minerals and everything, you know, and it just, well, whatever animals, and everything has a kind of knock-on effect. So, like, it's probably, I mean, definitely it is the best Noni that's actually available.
Yeah. the highest phytonutrients, but there's something very specific in this noni fruit, and it's iridoids. And it's based on a volcanic runoff. And so from this destruction of the volcanic ash, there's something good that comes from it. And I think that's kind of indicative in life, right? Like even from the mess, you can find something good. So yeah, over 20 years with this noni fruit, it's certainly proven and lots of research behind it.
No, the one that, I mean, it would have been your father as well, because I believe your father, not only you, I mean, you basically halved yourself, and but you said your father, like your father lost a lot of weight, and I mean that's comes down to another product. So you might just touch on it, maybe talk about your father's or what he lost it.
Yeah. So, well, for a long time, I was telling him I wanted him to use these drops, and these drops just turn on the body. It turns back on basic function. It resets the metabolism. It supports blood sugar. It lets you get your body's insulin sensitivity back. And that's really, especially here in the States with all of our foods that our government allows people to take in, we mess up how our body looks at sugar. And so all it does is disrupt our hormones. And these drops are they're so incredible. We have them here in the States, but we also have them over in Europe, and they are incredible at just, I liken it to a breaker box. Like if you walk up to your fuse box in your house where all the fuses are for your electricity and you blow a fuse, right? We almost have that same thing in our body that is for every organ. And so it's like someone keeps going, my thyroid's not working. And it's like, well, you blew the fuse. But it's like, why? What is blowing the fuse to the thyroid? Because you'll go in and you'll get it tested and they tell you it's normal. And you're like, it's not normal. I have every symptom of something being wrong with my thyroid. But then you test it and you say it's normal. And it's like, why? Well, because you tested it in 1 second. That one test is just that minute that you tested the thyroid. What about the other 23 hours and 58 minutes that are in the day when it's not normal, but you didn't test it during that time? And so our testing is off. And what I love is we can nutritionally support the body to go back and turn that fuse on. And what we have found is if you pair it with a low glycemic menu, meaning pull out the number hormone disruptor, which is sugar. Like it's worse than any street drug that's out there. Works worse in the brain than cocaine does. More addictive. And yet we're like drinking it, eating it. Like we got it in our supplements. We got it in our, we were talking like we got it in our ketchup. Like it's our number one ingredient. And like, give me a break. We don't need it there, but it's addictive.
And not only that, but the sugar plant does good parts of that, but the way they process it, we get the crap. And it's like over 5% goes into even beans and like at least. I mean, I have an app that shows me, and it's like, you never think it. They're saying even, and I mean, I know I'm going on a little tangent, but even if you see zero sugar, like that's got aspartame, and that's even 10 times worse. Like
it is. And so it's all about your insulin levels and how your body reacts to use insulin for fuel. And so it really does go back to science, and these drops are science. And so I used them. I had dieted. Okay. So I told you, all of a sudden I was like, I've lost me. I found myself at 300 plus pounds. I never saw myself tip over the scale into the 300s because I didn't think emotionally I could handle it. I was like, I can't see that happen. I just can't see it.
At 300 pounds, it's weird that you could even see the actual digits.
I couldn't. I had to like lean forward for sure. There is no seeing my toes. There's no doubt about that. Okay. I was out of control. I was out of balance, and I felt like everything I did. I mean, I ran 2 half marathons. So it wasn't like I wasn't doing things to be healthier. It's just I was using the wrong tool to monitor things. I was using a scale. And so something flipped and I was like, I'm going to start just doing healthy things. And if I do other healthy things, then I should find my way back to health. So one of the things that I noticed is when I pulled sugar out of my life, I felt better. My thoughts were better. My sleeping was better. My energy, like everything seemed to be different when I pulled sugar out. So I started dieting, doing keto diet. And I was like, I feel so great. But I'm looking over at an apple like I'm like, please, if I could just eat an apple. And something in me is going, it doesn't make sense why I can't eat what God has growing on tree. Like, why can't I have that? I'm still not doing something right. I should be able to have an apple. And so I still knew that I didn't have health truly happening if I wasn't able to take in the things that had the phytonutrients, that had the good foods in it. What's wrong with what I'm doing? I'm still focusing on weight. Keto was just restricting a food group and isolating how my body burns that fuel. So, for me, at the end of the day, I was still back on weight. And so I lost 80 pounds doing that. I think many of us have done diets and we know how to lose weight. I say I was a professional weight losser. Like, I know how to lose weight. If there's one thing I know how to do, it's I know how to drop 20 pounds. I can teach you how to do that. Here's the thing I could not teach you: how to keep it off. Because it was just a merry-go-round for me. And when I started to use these drops and I started to flip all those fuses back on to all those organs that were turned off, and by pairing it with the low glycemic, they were staying on. And for the first time in my life, I had a metabolism. I was keeping the weight off. And my dad noticed. See, that's what happens is people start noticing that something's very different. And my dad's like, this is different. We're a couple years out and you still have your weight off. I'm 6 years out. I've kept my weight off the whole time. And now I teach people how to do this. And I taught my dad how to do this. So my dad has lost over 150 pounds. My mom has lost over 130 pounds. And my mom was on 19 medications. With her daughter being a holistic functional med doc. Like, I was doing everything I knew to do with her, but she would not respond to what there was something still very off. 19 medications, ends up having her thyroid removed, on thyroid meds, heart medications because she had AFib and had to have an ablation. So, right, she can't have stimulants. She can't have all these things. There's so many things she can't have, but she could use the drops. And so I got her started utilizing the drop program. I got her eating a low glycemic menu alongside of it. We started adding in some Noni juice, right? We started coming from it from a holistic, like, what's going in your cells. Like, let's make sure we're giving your body everything it needs to function correctly. My mom is down to 4 medications. The lowest possible thyroid dose that they can give her to at least have some thyroid, because she doesn't have a thyroid. It's not producing any, but she's still on the lowest dose. So I'm okay with that. Right? And like, I got my parents back. I don't know how many years we've added on to their life. I do know that, the likeliness is a pretty good amount, being that my mom was fully medicated and on, right? Just that puffy look in the whole face, all the swelling and the inflammation. And it's not like she felt good. The medicines didn't make her feel better. They just, they gave her better lab results when she walked in. So I feel like I got my family back. And we took this and we created an online community for support, because I don't want to teach people how to be me. But I do want to create a community where we're all becoming advocates for our own health. And that's really what transpired for Bill and my dad. Is now it's not, hey, Kristal, tell me what to do. Now it's, I've empowered them. They know what to do to get their health back. They're like, wait, I need meditation. I need prayer time for my brain. I need sunlight to process and synthesize vitamins and minerals and essential fatty acids in my body. Like, I need water. Like, basically, we are houseplants. At the end of the day, it's like we're no different than any other thing that is out here in creation. I need nutrients. I need, it's like fertilizer for a plant. We know a plant does better when you give it fertilizer, nutrients, and supplements. That's what we're doing when we're, adding some things to our daily routine. But what we put in our mouths makes the biggest difference. So going back to whole food eating, I'm always like, hey, if you can shop, especially here in the States, shop the perimeter of the grocery store, because they have to plug it in there. So that means it's going to die if they don't have it, in the refrigerator section or in the freezer section. We need living food going in our body that doesn't have an ingredient list. Whole foods. So.
Well, beautiful. And like, I call it the Ant Test, because, like here we've got, they're German supermarkets, but I think they're in the States as well. You've got Lidl and Aldi. They're fairly big.
Yeah.
And like, even their apples, like even like I buy the bio, and I was like, and it was like, I started getting apples from the farmer. It was like, it brought me back to my childhood. But the ones that I would get, even carrots and everything, you throw from the Lidl and Aldi, like nothing was eating it. And then as soon as I got the proper apple, I throw it out, you see the ants, like, just covered it. And I was like, so it's like, that's the way I say it. So sometimes even single foods, we think it's grand, but we have to be careful, because like, I know somebody that was working with an airline, and it's like the amount of products going from one country, flying to another country and coming back and everything. I don't know what they're doing. They're spraying them with toxides, everything, just to make them have longer shelf life. And the way to do it is, when I see something now going moldy, before you'd be cringing and you'd be going, oh no. Now I'm so happy, because I'm like, it's going moldy because the mold is eating it, because it's actually good. Or if I see, that it's the ants eating it. And I think we have to be kind of conscious of that as well.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, I just you know how when your computer comes up and goes low battery? I just had that happen. I'm like, wait, I'm plugged in. A low battery. So all of a sudden it's like looking around me, like, where's the plug? Oh, that's sort of like our bodies. If only our bodies had the low battery, like, little icon that comes up and says, hey, and we do. We just don't listen to it when it's communicating. So, yeah.
And like, if we look, we all go and get our cars, in, I don't know what it's called in America. It's NCT in Ireland, MOT, I think, in some places. And it's like, you go in and you have to we don't do that with our bodies, which is a shame. But like with these, like, a lot of times people, they wait till something happens and then they go to the doctor thinking they're going to get a magic pill to reverse whatever. But unfortunately, it leads to surgery more something. So people have to take control of their own health. And, when there's, say, companies out there that's got your back, and you can go, okay, I know this is good, and then you can see results. It's like, it's not a marketing gimmick, because, and like, especially like you've seen not only yourself, but your parents as well, like, which that speaks for itself, which in turn gets you so motivated to be out there and helping more people kind of to get involved in this.
More and more. And it's so incredible to just have a single place that I can go to. Like, there's over 100 different nutritional products, but they've all been gone through by that Scientific Advisory Board. And so, yes, I know how to read labels, and I teach people how to read labels, but sometimes it's nice to know that I can send my mom or my dad or my best friend that maybe doesn't have all of that knowledge and skills, and they do have a safe place to shop and buy their magnesium or their protein powder, or because there's some just basics that we all already purchase. But then there's those things that are a little bit different. I mean, there are some incredible new innovative products that Partner Co. is going to be launching over the next few years. And all of it is based on science and supporting the body to function correctly. And that I can get on board with all day long. So I'm excited about this partnership.
And when you say science as well, because that's got a bad name in the last few years, because like there's paid science and there's real science.
Right. We're talking real science, and that's the difference. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like bring some credibility back to the field.
No, definitely. Like, I know there's a load of different products in this, and like, I think, I don't know that we say it before we start recording or actually as we recorded, but, I'm going to get you back a lot more. And I mean, we've touched on the Noni and the Slender one, but like, I suppose let's kind of just, finally, let's touch on that this is actually a business opportunity. And the first thing is because I've had over 20 companies. I've got involved with a lot of different things over the years. It's very low entry point, which I think you're catering for people that mightn't have too much disposable income to help them. So is it $29.95 or something like that?
Yeah, here in the States, it's $30. In fact, right now, through the end of August, it's waived here in the U.S. They did, the company is only a little over a year old, and so they did a celebration from August 10th through August 30th. They waived the $30 one time. It's once. It's not even yearly. It's one time. And they're like, we just want this moment where you say it's worth partnering with you. Like this cognitive decision that they're like, we don't need someone's $30 for people to come over here. This isn't a profit building point inside of our company. What this is a contract. Like, hey, you and us, we're partners. We're going to work together to have great health. So that they want to be your wellness partner. They want to be your lifestyle partner. You earn points for travel and trips. And I just got back from one. I earned enough points to go to Tahiti, a trip of a lifetime. It was so incredible. We spent 3 weeks in the Polynesian Islands on a cruise for 10 days, going from island to island to island. I'll partner with Partner Co. all day long for those kind of lifestyle trips. And then they are your business partner if you choose to be. If you want to tell other people, because right now, I'm telling you what, I've sent a lot of people to Amazon to buy something, and Amazon never sent me a dime. But I like the fact that I can send people to Partner Co. and they'll send me not just, there's so many people that want to be influencers. They want to find a way to take social media and make it profitable, and they may not know how. And I'm telling you, this is the most simple way I found it. From this, girl stuck in the middle of nowhere, Wyoming, USA, to be able to launch myself globally and in over 56 countries now with business. It's mind-blowing, but it's because it's a global world. But you have to have the ability to reach people with this influence. And so we've got a really easy, simple system to allow people to share it. And I don't just get paid when I influence the person that I talk to. I have the ability to get paid on who they influence. So I've become an influencer of influencers. Hence why you and I make a great pair, because we both have a big mouth. We just like to help people, and we love to talk and share and expose good things. And I love it. I love what we get to do. It's pretty incredible.
And like the thing as well is, you actually get the website with your unique code, so that when you're promoting it, so if you've got social media, and to be honest, even if you don't, the training that's provided, because the group with me and you, you've created something that is incredible. Because I mean, I've read lots of books and stuff like that, but you basically hold people by the hands. You do weekly calls. but you've got all the information how to make this successful. So even if somebody just wants to use the product themselves, that's good. That's no problem. But then you'd say, hey, for the sake of $29 or $30, you get a better discount by actually being part. And people will look at you and go, how did you lose, half your weight? And then you could have 50 people. And why not be earning from that? Because to be honest with you, like even with mics and stuff like that, I think I've probably sent 100 plus people my microphone and stuff like that, maybe 200. And I haven't got one single cent from that, from Amazon. They didn't ring me up and go, right, thanks a million for that. So why not? And especially when you know it's good. Like, it's not a case of like, oh, this is a money thing, let's make it. I mean, you're changing people's lives. You're getting them off medication. And that's worth gold. And, the ripple effect, like, you don't know because you bring in people. You don't know, because it goes. And, like, you don't know, you could have just saved somebody, have their parents around for the next 20 years. Based on just them getting involved with this. And I mean, that's priceless to me.
It is. It's extremely humbling when I wish people could jump in my inbox and see the messages that I get. And I'm like, I didn't do anything but share my own story. We all have a story. And when we share it, it inspires and it gives hope to someone else. And so, yeah. Autoimmune issues since I was 5, 170 pounds overweight, hormones a disaster, and I thought I was broken. And I wasn't. It was what I was putting in my body. And when I found out how and what to put in my body, totally changed my world. And now I can go out there and share the hard stuff, the messy stuff. And it becomes my message to someone else that might be in the middle of the mess. So if that is you, like, follow the links that we're going to give you. Roy's going to give you a link. I don't need you to follow me. I want you to follow Roy. Roy is the light right now in this. He's the one going, look, this can help you if you open your mind and see it. So I hope everybody that hears this takes that step towards becoming an advocate for their own health if they haven't already. I'm sure most of your listeners have already taken some steps. But here's just another one. Here's just another step towards health. So
excellent. And as you mentioned, my link. So basically on all my websites, I have a store, but I'm also writing it down like a sponsor so that you'll see it on the page easy. And basically you just click on that, it'll bring you to the store. And then if you're interested, you just you can sign up from there or just reach out to me with a form. And also, for Dr. Kristal, if you have any questions or anything like that, I've got a questionnaire on all my websites. You just write and you just tell me that it's for Kristal, and I do it. Well, I mean, you told me you're Kristal to me, you're Dr. Kristal.
I am Kristal. I love that. Yes, I'm happy to answer questions for people. And this is going to be a lot of fun. It's exploding. Everybody is wanting, like, we've all been through it. We just lived the last couple of years. We know it's not a matter of if something else will come at us to take our health out. It's a matter of when. And so all we can do is build up a stronger temple, make this body as strong as we can get it so we can withstand the craziness that's all around us.
Definitely. No, perfect. So listen, I look forward to having you back again, and we'll go through like this. There's a lot of products that are all fantastic. So what we'll do is we'll get you back and we go through a few of them again. And when people write, I'll have the messages, I'll have everything ready. So thank you very much, Kristal.
Yeah, thank you.
So that's all for the Speaking, Meditation, and Awakening podcast. Find all our episodes on awakeningpodcast.org, speakingpodcast.com, and meditationpodcast.org. Sure to give us a thumbs up, 5-star rating, share with your friends, and let us know what you thought. Put comments in the thing. And if you have questions, as I mentioned, just write them, and we'll discuss it next time. Until next week, take care.